Rob Flallow, sitting MP for Stoke South. Do you want to just tell the electorate and the bits and pots of viewers and readers, what have you done for Stoke South?
Right. Where do we start? I mean, if you start in Fenton, I mean, on the ground, it's about getting in there. Fenton's often described as the forgotten town. And one of the things that we've got in Fenton, of course, is the brand new health centre, which Labour has delivered for the people of Stoke-on-Trent, for the people of Fenton. You can put in another community, Colville, again, on the edge of the city there. Housing market renewal, huge multi-million pounds spent in that area to develop the housing, to build fantastic new homes in there. Wherever you look, there's fantastic things happened. But I think for me, it's kind of a bigger picture, really. It's about standing up for the people of Stoke-on-Trent, because for a long time, for decades, generations, Stoke-on-Trent has been kind of pushed to the side of things. In the 1980s, under the Conservatives, of course, all the mines weren't just closed, they were sealed up for good. So what I've tried to do is really build on the things that Labour as a government have done for the city of Stoke-on-Trent. So, where the government have made available money for regeneration, I've tried to make sure that's been spent properly. Where the government have made money available for new housing, I've tried to make sure that that's been done properly. Where indeed £250 million was made available for new high schools in the city of Stoke-on-Trent, I've tried to kick the council to make them spend that properly. So time and time again, it's about standing up for the people, because it's the people of this city that matter, nothing else, it's the people.
So if Labour are re-elected in Stoke South, I mean, how are you going to continue to make sure that money is spent on hospitals? I mean, there's tough economic times at the moment. What are you going to do to ensure that the spending continues and that cuts don't go so deep as to hurt the people of Stoke?
Sure, and then this is one of the crucial things at the election, of course, is about protecting those frontline services.
Let's talk about health first.
Yeah, absolutely, and protecting those frontline services is vital, and health is the biggie. We've got the first hospital being built in Stoke-on-Trent for 140 years, and that doesn't happen by accident, and that is because the Labour government have seen that we need a brand new hospital for Stoke-on-Trent. We've got the brand new cancer hospital already open, and we've got the brand new maternity hospital already open, and those hospitals delivering fantastic services. I was in the maternity hospital a couple of weeks ago and having a look at the premature baby unit. And you've got tiny little dots of 24-week-old babies that are clinging to life, but having fantastic nursing care, medical support to help them through that journey to cling to life, to grow, to generate. It's one of those things where we can't risk that sort of stuff. This is people's lives we're talking about, and yes, there's going to need to be some cuts. But if we start cutting at the front line, if we start cutting, people's lives are going to be at risk, and we can't allow that to happen.
Now, in Stoke-on-Trent, the BSF situation has been a very, very highly debated point.
Absolutely.
There's been lots of issues, toing and froing about closures of schools.
Yep, indeed.
No concrete decisions made. Mitchell is a particular one. I mean, what is Labour's position on BSF now in Stoke-on-Trent? Let's talk about Mitchell. What's going to happen with Mitchell?
Well, absolutely. Well, of course, Mitchell is in Stoke Central constituency, but for me, it's a two-school solution between the Mitchell site and the Longton site. And we have to have the two-school solution. And the Minister, Vernon Coker, has said we can have the two-school solution. Government money is available. It's £250 million is available for this city to spend on its high schools. And we have the council, the Conservative-run council at the moment, not doing what the previous administration did. With the previous administration, with Trentham High, under Labour, the Minister said you can keep Trentham High open, and like that, the council did the right thing. We have again the situation where the Minister has said we can have the two-school solution, we can keep Mitchell High open, we can build a new school on the Longton fields. The Minister said we can do that, and what do we find? The Conservative administration are ignoring it and pressing ahead. It's ridiculous. About time this council listened to the people of this city, and as you can tell, that's something I feel particularly passionate about.
Now, Ed Balls talked about major cuts to Bector. The city has two city learning centres,
yes,
doesn't
indeed,
it? One
yep.
at the Haywood in the north of the city,
yep.
and of course one at Longton High School.
Yes, indeed.
Now, the city learning centres receive their funding through Bector.
Yep.
Now, if Bector is cut, then surely the city's going to lose two city learning centres.
Well, again, it's about making sure that we're protecting those frontline services. I mean, what happens down at the Learning Centre in Longton is fantastic. I mean, I was there, again, a few months ago with one of the primary schools. They were doing some wonderful work. It's incredible seeing the enthusiasm of these young people working with computers, with video cameras, going out and doing bits of filming. And absolutely fabulous the stuff that they were doing in the Learning Centre there, let alone all the other stuff that happens. It's about protecting those frontline services. But I tell you what, again, if we lose Longton High and we don't get a school on those fields, you start to wonder about where the council is looking at for the Longton Learning Centre, because it would be very easy for them if they shut it and don't give us a school in the Longton area, for them to say, well, it's not sustainable to have the learning centre there, and I will continue to fight for the two-school solution, partly because it also means protecting that learning centre.
Okay, the hot potato of the election has obviously been immigration.
Yeah.
Mike Coleman, local man, he's been making some very vocal statements about Labour gerrymandering in the area. How do you respond to that?
Well, I mean, it's the typical thing that you hear from the BNP. I mean, don't forget this is the same BNP, of course, that about a year or so ago made public statements to say they wanted power at any cost. And if that meant misery for the people of Stoke-on-Trent, then so be it. Well, I'm sorry, misery for nobody in our city. We should be moving forward, not going backwards on these issues. And in terms of immigration, yes, it is a key issue, and it is something I'm more than happy to speak about, because we now have this Australian-style point system that is really making sure that when somebody wants to come to our country, that they have the right skills, that they have skills that we don't have here, that are in short supply, that we need to bring somebody in, and that before they come here, that job is being offered to people in the local community. So, quite frankly, what the BNP say is just the typical scare stories, the scaremongering, just to try and whip up people's fears and prey on those fears. And instead of actually addressing the issues of our city, they're more interested in continuing perpetuating these stories. What I'm interested in is actually addressing the problems of our city, the problems like concerns over immigration, but also issues like getting jobs into our city and getting training for our people so they can take those jobs.
Right. I'm myself an economic migrant. I came to Stoke-on-Trent 14 years ago, and in the 14 years that I've been in Stoke-on-Trent, not one politician has ever knocked on my door. Not Labour, not Conservative, not Liberal.
Yep.
How are you getting out and knocking on doors and meeting people?
Have been for 5 years, and one of the things you'll see from my election material is some of the people that I have met over the last 5 years on this journey who have said, Rob, actually, we like what you've done, we like what you stand for, and we're prepared to put our names and our faces on your election material to stand up and say that we appreciate what you do for the community. I've got 37,000 houses in my constituency. I would love to be able to spend, and indeed the folk, the activists that work with me know that, given an opportunity, I'm on a doorstep for hours if I can be. But 37,000 houses, you can do the maths and work out how long it takes to get around every house in the constituency, and that's if people are in. But I love nothing better than getting out and talking to. So you'll have to let me have your address. I shall come and stand on your doorstep. You can make me a mug of tea, and I'd love to have the chat.
Do you have a final message for the voters?
Yeah, this is crucial. This is a point of situation really where if you come out and vote, then you can effect real positive change, not the change that the Conservatives are talking about, to change us to go back to the 1980s, but a change that says we continue to have the new hospitals, we continue to build schools, we continue to have police on our streets. All the positive change that Labour has brought over 13 years, we can continue with that positive. The choice, of course, is do you want to vote for that and value those things and vote for it, or do you not value those things and you want something different? Well, I'd say to people really have a long, hard think, because 6th of May is a crucial day that could either make the future of our country important and make the future of our country solid, or it could send us back into our history and push us back into recession, and we all know where those lessons lead.
Thank you.
Thank you.